Hello, welcome to the MR Runningpains podcast and happy holidays. I'm Aaron Saft, and I try not to record my face too often, but here we are. So I figured this episode I would do the YouTube video. So if you're listening to this and you want to watch so you can see what I'm talking about, it will be on my YouTube channel, which is Aaron Saft, link in the show notes. I'm going to put everything I can in the show notes, so show notes be pretty big today. So check there for all the resources. I want to go over a few things that are coming up before I get into my year-end gear review. So the newsletter will be coming out. January 1st is coming upon us very quickly. So just a note, there's going to be a few things coming up in that newsletter. I'm going to talk about one of those things very soon. But you can sign up for my newsletter. It is free. It comes out once a month. I try to jam pack it with training advice, gear reviews, articles, just things that I ruminate when I'm on running. So try to make it as interesting and relevant to you and helpful as I can. So if you want to subscribe, head over to my website, mrrunningpains.com, and subscribe. That will come right to your inbox, as well as all my old archived articles are in the website as well. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully keep going. So check out the newsletter each month and subscribe if you would. That's coming up. Related to that and related to my fundraising efforts, I have a contest going on right now for everyone that donates $100 to either the Vermont Adaptive or to my efforts that I'm raising for the Challenged Athlete Foundation for the Leadville 100. Either one, I'm going to have links for my specific fundraising pages in the show notes. But if you donate $100, you'll be entered into a raffle for 6 months of free coaching. That's a $750 value. I will be drawing the winner on January 1st and announcing that winner within the January newsletter. So I'll announce it in there, and then afterwards I'll be posting it to social media and such. But if you want to enter, for each $100 that you enter, so at increments of 100, 200, 300, you will get a raffle ticket for each $100 that you donate. And I thank you. It's going to a very worthy cause. It's really helping me get motivated and inspired for the Grand Slam. So, the Vermont Adaptive, I'm raising funds for the Vermont 100 for the Vermont Adaptive Foundation, and I'm fundraising the Challenge Athlete Foundation. I'm raising that for the Leadville 100. Currently, I have met my fundraising goals in order to be able to run in each, but that doesn't stop us from doing a good thing and donating to these causes for athletes that potentially don't have the same abilities that we do, or the potential to get out there, or they think they don't have the potential to get out there. So you're doing a great thing helping these athletes and getting them opportunities, giving them opportunities to get out there. So please support these causes if you can. I greatly appreciate all the support because, as I said, I've reached my goals. For Vermont, we've raised over $3,000, $3,060, which is tremendous. For Leadville, for the Colorado, for the Challenged Athlete Foundation, we've raised $3,643.94 at the time of this recording, for a combined total of $6,703.94. That is incredible. I get touched. Oh. Sorry. I just had to raise $4,000 total for this. And, to go over, it really does. I'm getting choked up every time I do this, but it really does mean a lot. So thank you. Oh my gosh. I didn't think that was going to happen again, but forgive me. It just really, every time, it just means a lot that, people support these causes and support me. So thank you. So those are the big things that are going on right now. I want to get into the gear review. That's the primary reason for this episode. Initially I was hoping to have my buddy Nathan Lehman on from the Ultrarunning company. Nathan and I talk gear all the time, and he's a wonderful person to have on this podcast and a wonderful person just to be friends with. Nathan, unfortunately, couldn't be with us for this podcast. We couldn't work it out with our schedules. So, but Nathan, really, I'm thinking of you, buddy. I wish you could have been on this. It would have been fun to go through these things with you. But my apologies to everybody that we couldn't make this happen. So I'm going to go through what my gear choices are, things that I used throughout this year. For those of you that don't know, I ran the Bigfoot 200 this year. Most of you probably already know that. But there was a lot of gear things that I had to go through, and I'll probably use a lot of the same stuff going forward for the Grand Slam. There's a lot of things that I've been using. And, some of this is things that I used in training. Some of this is stuff that I use in racing. But hopefully gives you some ideas that potentially could help you, or maybe beneficial to you in your racing. So one of my first go-tos is my pack. And my go-to pack, for those of you that don't know, in the Bigfoot 200 was the Salomon Advanced Skin 12, Salomon Advanced Skin 12. This pack retails for $160. You can probably find it on closeout with some of the older colors for a lot less. So if you're willing to do that, that's a way to save some money. When I was looking through at the suggested retail on these packs, it's $160. What I love about these packs is the material is very stretchy. It gives a lot, so you can pack a lot into these packs. You can see I have my little patch on there, maximum effort, and Saft from Bigfoot. So this is what got me through the Bigfoot 200. All 209 miles, I used this pack. Carried all my mandatory gear, everything. I've used the 12. I actually have two 12s. I have a blue one and a yellow one, so that if anything happened to one, I have a backup. The blue one was ready to go, but I used this guy all 209 miles. I didn't have any issues, any problems. I love the storage capacity on here. You can put your bottles in the front. It's got great bottles. It's got these great drop-in pockets that are super deep, and actually they go, and there's a kangaroo pouch in the back. So in the back of the pack, it goes all the way through. This is the bottom of the back, so you can kind of see it goes all the way through here. And what I do with that pouch is I put my water filter in there, so it's an extra bottle. If I'm thirsty and I'm out, I can take that out. I can drink off of it, refill it at a creek. But I use my water filter, and I've used both the Salomon RA filter and the Katahdin, the Be Free. So either of those are great choices, and they have the screw-on cap that has the filter built in. It's got the threaded filter. So great pack. It's got so much storage capacity. The bungees on the back, it's great. You can just throw your jacket on the back there. It cinches. It bounces a little bit. I'll admit it does bounce a little bit with a lot of weight, but as I said, it was great. I love this vest. And then what I will say is that their method of carrying the poles, it's all right. It's got two bungee cords. They also have their accessory, which is the quiver that you can attach to their packs. That works quite well. Sometimes tough to get in and out, I will say that. So I haven't quite found the ideal way if I'm going to store my poles. I think what I ended up doing when my pole broke in Bigfoot is I just stuffed it into the bladder pocket. I just stuffed it back there, and I was just like, because I wasn't going to use them for the rest of the race. So I just stuffed it in there and was done with it. So, but that's what I use there. Also worth mentioning is the Salomon Adv Skin 5. This pack has got me through a number of 100-milers. Now, this one is a very old model of this vest, and I'm hoping it stays with me for a long time. What this pack has that the new ones does not is that kangaroo pocket across the back again. And they may update it. Okay, so I may say this and then it may come out with a new pack, or their current pack may have gone back to it, but again, the kangaroo pouch that goes straight through the back of the vest. So this is under the back of the vest here. And again, great spot for that bladder, the filter. Love that spot for the filter because I can reach behind my back, stick my hand back there and pull that out, and I can just pull the pouch open and stick it back through when I fill it back up, or if I'm not using it. So love that pouch for that reason. You can also just throw your extra gear in there, whether you're not, if you're done with your headlamp for the evening, you can just stuff it back there, or if you take your shell off, you can stuff it back there. So great little extra pocket. Now, if your pack doesn't have that, it's not to say you can't add something like that. Now, I'm not the greatest seamstress. I usually give stuff like that to my mom and say, hey, listen, I'd like this done to my pack, and I'll show you what I did in the next vest to modify and make a vest, better for my needs. But you can add on pockets. You can also take off stuff. So sometimes a vest is too hot because of extra material that's not needed. So know that you can modify your vest. You can take pieces off that you're not using or are creating too much heat. They're generating or containing too much heat. So know that vests can be modified as well. It's tough because you buy a vest, the 5 retails for $140. So you're modifying an expensive piece of gear. But if you know what you're doing, or the person you're giving it to knows what they're doing, it can really be beneficial to you, adding pockets or taking away material. So know about that. And then there's tons of YouTube videos of people that have modified vests and taken stuff off or added stuff too. So check out YouTube for some great resource in that. But love this vest, the Salomon Adv Skin 5. It's a great complement to the 12. Again, if you don't have a huge mandatory gear list, you're not carrying a lot of gear, the 5 is a wonderful vest. And the last vest that I want to go over is the Ultra Aspire. It's their Bronco vest, right? So the Bronco vest, I've enjoyed both the Salomon and the Ultra Aspire vests for the reason that they've got bungee cords, for their sternum straps. So the straps that go across your chest or your abdomen. I always find that the rigid fasteners, if they go across and they don't have any give, I have a hard time breathing. I'm not a huge belly breather. Perhaps I should be, but like when my chest wants to expand and I feel the restriction, I don't like that feeling. So both the Salomon and the Ultra Aspire, having that stretchability, we'll call it, is wonderful. The Ultra Aspire has a term for it. They call it Max O2. And it's just great. I love the fact that I can, put these on. They are vests, they fit securely, but they also expand when I'm breathing. Now, I was mentioning that I had my mom modify this one on the back side. So the top back, this is the outside of the pack. You can see, let's see here. You can see that stitching right there. So my mom stitched this over for me. This flap used to come up really high. Okay. So picture this sitting on your back, and with this coming up high, it just kept hitting on the back of my neck, which, was annoying. If I leaned back or looked up, it would constantly hit the back of my neck, which I didn't like that. So that's why I had mom, sew this in. So this is the outside. So she sewed it in for me. So now it doesn't come up and hit the back of my neck. That's the only modification I had to make to this one. Other concerns, I will say, though, these upper pockets, they're great for bottles. Okay. So, I have their, what they term their soft flasks. They're a plastic, not like the regular, like Salomon, Hydro Plaque or Hydro Flask, really soft ones. They're kind of shaped. They fit fine in here. But these pockets below them, okay, so now we're talking lower here. You can see this drop-in pocket right here. It's not as secure. I tried putting my phone in that pocket, and it just flies out when I go, start running, because it just bounces out. So only concern there is, the security. My thoughts about this is perhaps, just kind of pinning the middle and seeing if I could get gels in and out. I just worry that, things are going to fly out and I'm not going to notice it. But the back also has great storage capacity. You can add a bladder, probably a 1.5 liter bladder. I'm not sure if you could do a 2 liter bladder in this one. I haven't really tried that, but it also has some storage in the back. So you've got plenty of room if you need to carry things. I'm thinking about this vest specifically for Western states and for Vermont. Maybe even Leadville. I'm not sure. But this vest is very, very, very enticing because it has a ton of storage. There's extra pockets along the, well, just about everywhere. I'll just say I am pretty impressed about how much storage this vest actually has. There's drop-in pockets on the side along your rib cage here, so lots of storage for this vest. I also love the mesh. It's very breathable. Shouldn't be too hot. You could add ice in the back if you're in a hot weather race like Western states. So lots of versatility in this vest. Again, my only concern is those shallow pockets on the bottom side. The top pockets, I can throw my phone in there and I have no problem. But then you have a bottle and your phone in that pocket, which isn't the worst thing. But just saying, it's that's a concern on the lower pocket. It's just things might bounce out. So but great vest. Bronco vest retails for $130. Okay. Again, I'm going to put all this stuff in the show notes. I'll try to put links to all of these things if you're interested in checking them out. I should also say I have no affiliation with any of these brands. So when I say all of this stuff, this is just stuff that I use, I believe in, I like. Okay. So I'm not prompted by any company to advertise this. I'm not trying to sell their products, just telling you what's been working for me. All right. Now, my other big one this year. I made the switch to the Lecky pole system. Okay. So their collapsible pole, this specific one, the MCT carbon. Okay. This pole was fantastic. I love this pole. I love how light it is. They discontinued this pole, but their technology with the, what did they call it? The Shark grip system, the Trail Shark grip system. You can see this little piece right here, this white piece, right? So right there. Okay. The thumb, it releases that. Okay. So actually it sits this way. And when you push this, you can see that white comes up. So that releases the glove system. Let me grab those. There they are. Sorry to fumble around. All right. So I'm going to show you two different things here. All right. So I've got my left glove. This is what it comes with. Now, hopefully they've modified it with the new poles that came out. But I want to show you something. I bought these separately. This is their Nordic, in their Nordic line. You can get it through their accessories. Okay. So I've got two different, this is both, they're both Lecky, by the way. Okay. So what was happening was there's a seam on this glove right here, and it started to tear me up right on the base of my palm right here on one of my long training runs. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that was just, I just didn't have the glove situated right on that run. So I tried it again, same thing. Really got irritation at the base of my palm right here. So I switched over to the Nordic Shark Breeze, I think it's called. You can look it up on the Lecky site. It's in their accessories, but it still has the hoop. Okay. This is what the attachment point. So when you attach, okay. So I've got that to, usually I'm able to, oh, it's already in there. Sorry. So now it's attached in there, right? I can drop it. Okay. Hands free. I can eat. Okay. So the, what's nice with this is when you click the top button, you can slide your hand out. So snaps in there. It's easier when you can snap it onto the ground. It really pushes through, and then I can pop that right out. A little bit harder when you're not on the trail, because like I said, I just smash it in the ground, loop goes in, pop the button, pop my hand out. I can use my hands again, hold both poles in the other hand and use this hand to eat and such. So I like that about the Lecky system. This glove did not give me any problems with my palm. One of my other runners that I coach had same problem with the palm. He found something that he could slip in there to, make it cover the hand so it was less abrasive. So, you can get by with just using these. It's nice. These aren't as hot either. But, again, like these, it worked really well. I didn't get that abrasive feeling or anything like that. But again, they may have modified the glove since this came out, I think 2 years ago. When, again, looking at the website, these are not on there anymore. They've got updates to their poles. Their line is amazing. Really enjoy the grip system. Takes a little while to get used to, popping it in, popping it off, but great. I love went back to the Lecky. They've come a long way since I started with them. I tried them for a long time. Wasn't quite the fan of the trigger system just yet. It didn't quite work as well. Went to Black Diamond for a while. I used their Carbon Z poles. Really like them with the hoop. But I find that this is great because I can let go of the pole when it goes behind me. I can let go and really push off and get extension and then pull it back up and grip it. So like this system a lot, the Lecky system. So I'll put that in the show notes. And their poles, I mean, you're going to spend some money on poles. And if you're doing a mountain race, 100 miles where you can use poles, definitely worth the investment. Nothing wrong with the Black Diamond. I just, the hoop system, it just was a little bit cumbersome and I didn't feel as comfortable with letting go of the pole. Having the hoop kind of right between the thumb and the pointer finger right here, great placement for that attachment. So Lecky poles. All right, moving forward, let's get into lighting. A good friend of mine, and he's probably listening to the podcast, so Uphill Pisgah, thank you, sir, for showing me these. I also did a podcast with Ben Mercer and he talked about this headlight. So a few things. This headlight, it's out by Nightcore. Okay. This is the Nightcore NU25. Okay. Nightcore NU25 or New 25. I will put the link in the show notes. This headlight is extremely light. Now, the reason it's so extremely light is I took the headband off. This was a recommendation that I received from Uphill Pisgah, my buddy and training partner. The headband is heavier than the light case. A lot of weight on the headband. So that's the first thing that came off. I went and separately ordered the shock cord and the toggle. You can see the toggle here. I ordered those separately off of a separate website. If you have a hard time finding this stuff, just let me know. I'll see if I can add that stuff to the show notes. I added it in my newsletter a while back. I talked about, how to set this up. So I'll try to add that link to that newsletter so you can go into that newsletter and find out more about this Nightcore system. But the Nightcore itself retails for $37. Okay. This headlamp is very versatile. Now it's 360 lumens at its brightest. It is rechargeable. Okay. This does not take batteries. It's a rechargeable battery. So the 360 lumens only lasts for 30 minutes though. Okay. That's something I should note. Now it has 190 lumens for 5 hours. Still pretty bright. Okay. So you can use this as a primary source and carry another one and probably make it through the night on something just, with this. You can also just use this as your backup light. So a lot of races, you have to have your primary light source and a backup light source. This is so light and so small and so packable. It's a wonderful option. I love this lighting system. I use it in the mornings. It's winter now. So if I go out early, this is fine to get me through. I live on a dirt road that has some potholes and stuff that I need to see. This is just fine. I can go through my run, not worry about it, come home, just throw it on the charger and it's ready for the next morning. Okay. So a great resource. Okay. My normal ones, let me talk about next. I have I have two light sources that I like for Bigfoot 200. Man, this guy here, the Swift RL. Okay, Swift RL. This is what I used at Bigfoot. I was in the past, I had some problems with the battery pack that it comes with, and it's a little cumbersome to try to change the battery. It's kind of a pain, to be honest. But that said, the lighting on this is amazing. 900 lumens. I never left it in 900 lumens. And I didn't even go in the second brightest. I think I had it in like the third setting, and it lasted me all night long. I didn't have to change the battery. I just had my pacers swap them out, or in the morning, I just had them swap this battery out, carried my backup lamp, which at that time was the Actic Core. So both of these have their own specific batteries. This one specifically, you can add AAA batteries to, which is kind of nice. So you can either use their Actic battery pack for this one, the core battery for this one. This one is 360 lumens, I want to say, as well. May even be more. Could be 400. Anyway, great light. Love this thing. This one was more comfortable. I really like the comfort and the band on the Swift. So worth the money. Definitely still a great battery pack. But that night core is a great either. It just depends on your need, At Bigfoot, I just didn't want to mess around. And that's why I went with this one. I had plenty of backup batteries for each of these. Actually, I think some of my pacers used this one and some of its backup batteries, whereas I stuck to the RL, and I was very pleased with, the lighting. I also used my belt. I had the Ultra Aspire 600. Yeah, I had the Ultra Aspire 600 as a low level light so that I could, get more depth perception. But I enjoyed the Swift RL as my primary light source, Actic Core as backup light source, and, my belt. So a lot of lighting here. My primary was to introduce you to the night core in case you hadn't been introduced to that, and the promise that it shows because of how light and versatile it is. So check out that night core. All right. Let's see. Let's talk next about goal 0. I was looking at battery packs for Bigfoot, needing to make sure that I had plenty of potential for recharging, and I ran into the Flip series. Now this is the Flip 24. The Flip 24 is the mid-size. They have a Flip 12, which is half of this. So picture half of that. That's the 12. They also have the 36. Okay, so I have the 24 and the 36. The 12 is $20. The 24 is $30, and the 36 is $40. They are having a holiday sale right now, but these battery packs were fantastic. They're not very heavy. Kind of like this one. This is the one I carried primarily. Charged my phone, charged my watch. If I needed to charge a headlight battery, this was great. I think the only thing that I will say, and something that I hope that they change going forward, well, there's two things. It's only got one USB port, which, I wish it had two, so you could charge two items at the same time, especially on something like the 36, the larger one. This one, again, only one charging port. Love to see them have more, but it sufficed during the Bigfoot 200. And the weight on this was great. It wasn't like I was carrying too much weight. A lot of times you get something like this, it gets a little bit heavier, not much, but weight does count. So I really liked the 24. This was a perfect size. Charged my phone multiple times, I will say. Not that I kept it in airplane mode, so I didn't have to charge it too often. I did have to charge. I wanted to make sure I wasn't sure if my watch battery was going to die, so I did charge it just to make sure it wouldn't die on me. So I used this one during the Bigfoot 200. But the goal 0, they call it the Flip. It's great. The second thing that I was worried about was you can see the charger. Okay, so this, if you are trying to charge it into like a wall plug, or you have an adapter, whatever, however you're trying to charge it, it's a little flimsy because it's just this little piece. So I bought the Flip charging dock. Okay, so you plug it in to there, and then you can plug it into the wall. So Now, the charging dock right now actually is on sale for $4.95. So quite a deal right now. They're out of the 12s on the Goal Zero website, but the 24 is in stock. So great little battery pack. Love this. Worked really well for me. This charging was fantastic. Do recommend that. All right. That's Goal Zero. Something else I use. Probably could have talked about this earlier, and you might have seen some of my videos, but the Naked Running Band, and I have the Naked Running SL Band. So this one's a little slimmer. Okay. I've used this for multiple items. I have a YouTube video online about how I hooked up my Kogala to the toggles. You can see the bungee cords here. I hooked up my Kogala to that. Had somebody say that you might break the wire. Potentially, that's a good point. But the Naked SL running band, it's great because it's just pockets all the way around. So if I'm just going for a run and want to carry my phone with me, I can carry a soft flask, in this, nutrition. So it's very versatile and adds, storage capacity if you're, running a race and you just want more easy access to your gels or whatever it may be. These are a great item. They have a deeper pocketed one, which is just the running band. The running band itself costs $55 and the SL costs $48. They come in 1-inch increments. So when you're sizing, you measure around the waist, and you can pick your specific size and they don't bounce. That's the other great thing about this product. So I've been very pleased with the Naked Running bands. So check those out. All right, man, a lot of stuff going on. For training, a lot of my athletes ask me, what do I use for heart rate monitoring? I'm not a huge fan of wrist heart rate. Some people can get it to work. That's amazing. I can't. I can't get my wrist heart rate to be accurate or consistent. So what do I use? I use the Wahoo Ticker X. Now this is the higher end model, and when I say that, it's $80. But the Wahoo, I've really enjoyed it. They've had great customer service. Really been a fan of what Ticker comes up with and what they do. This one has a few more bells and whistles. This one, there's some Bluetooth features and some things that you can do with the app. It's not that much more expensive than the regular Ticker. They do have an optical armband one as well, but again, optical, same technology as you get into with the wrist heart rate off your watch. So that's why I like the chest strap system. So Wahoo Ticker X, that's what I'm using. $80. Great product, a lot more consistent, a lot more accurate, a lot more better feedback. So really like this for my training. Okay. All right. What else? Oh, would be remiss to not talk about my watches. Now, the one that I used most in training, so I'm just going to go over this one, is the Coros Apex Pro. This watch has been fantastic. So they have 4 watches in their line: the Pace, the Apex Pro, and the Vertex. I do have the Vertex 2. And that's what I use during Bigfoot. Love that watch. Love its, abilities, capacities. If I go on an adventure run, I can download the map to it. And, battery life is just fantastic. So Vertex 2, if you are, doing a lot of ultras or a lot of adventure runs, Vertex 2 is certainly worth it. For those of us that are ultra runners, or even marathon runners, the Apex and the Apex Pro are probably the way to go. Okay. The Apex Pro is definitely going to last you through an ultra, even 100 miles. You'd probably have to charge it if you're looking at really long cutoffs on a 100-miler. But, a 200-miler, the Vertex 2 is awesome. But I will say I cannot beat the customer service that Coros has provided me. I had a problem with my original Coros Apex Pro, and I contacted them. They went through a few things, asked me some questions. They sent me a replacement watch. Now, the watch that I had, it worked, and I just couldn't give it to anybody else. I tried to give it to a friend just, so that he could use it, but they shut down the watch. He couldn't connect it to his phone, which, that makes sense because they sent me a whole new watch. So their customer service is amazing. Love the customer service. They were really, spot on. If I ever have a problem, they tell me, here's what's going on. Oh, we just need to replace it. So I've used other companies in the past. I don't want to make mention of names, but they were not. Their customer service was abysmal. They didn't, my watch wasn't working and they didn't fix it and they didn't seem to care. So that is why I've stuck with Coros. I love the accuracy, I love the battery life, and I love the customer service. So, if you're looking for a new watch, consider the Coros brand. Really enjoy them. So Coros, right on. Before I get into footwear, I want to talk about one more thing. And this is kind of, on a side, but this book is my book of the year. This is Addie Bracy's Mental Training for Ultra Running. Her book is just fantastic in training you and getting you ready for your race. Now, I know it says ultra running, but you can use this book for not only any distance in running, marathon and under as well. You can use this in life. And I've said this before, but this book is just fantastic. It prepares you mentally for the task you're going to take on. It gives you an idea of why you're doing it. Gives you mental strategies to apply when things get hard and when you're kind of hitting the lows. This is a wonderful resource. So Addie Bracy's book, Mental Training for Ultra Running, if you haven't read it or haven't picked it up, I suggest you do so. I keep this out, so this is always nearby so that, I can go through things. As I prepare for the Grand Slam, I'm going to be going back through this. I use this. It's like a workbook. There's activities in here that have you, go through and think through situations, scenarios, and, reasons for doing what you're doing. So I'm going to use this again, go through it again for the Grand Slam. I may do it for each race. I may do specific things for each race, but again, great book, great resource. So Addie Bracy's Mental Training for Ultra Running. Love that book. Okay. On to footwear. Now, when I go through this and talk about footwear, know that this is for my foot. It's difficult when we talk about footwear because everybody's foot's different. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's likes are different. So I'm going to tell you what I felt, what was the most versatile, what was the most useful, and why. Okay. So this first shoe, when I talk about it, I'm going to go through my most versatile road shoe. So when I do road running, okay, now keep in mind, I am primarily a trail runner, but I do some road running, and sometimes I do some faster road running. So this shoe is my most versatile road shoe. I can use it for long runs. I can use it for speed sessions. I can use it for recovery runs. So it's well versed. It's not plated. Okay. I want to, stress that this is a non-plated running shoe. Okay. And it's the Hoka Mach 5. Now, interestingly enough, this shoe and its predecessor, it for whatever reason was not working out for me. But the Edition 5, whatever changes they made, this shoe is dialed in. I really love this shoe. It's $140, 5mm drop. Now, my shoe is going to come in a little under 10 ounces because I'm an 11.5. I might even be a 12 in this one. Let's look that up real quick. Oh, it's an 11. I went down in this one. Okay, so I went down a half size in this one. Okay, so down a half size from my normal size. So still under 10 ounces, really light, feels great underfoot. As I said, super snappy for speed, but super comfortable for long distance. Got enough cushion underfoot that you can use it for longer stuff. Durability, I'm not sure yet, right? There's no carbon rubber on the bottom, so that's going to wear out a little bit faster. So exposed EVA on the bottom, so that will wear out. So keep that in mind. But the cushioning system feels so good underfoot. I really love the setup on this shoe. It's wonderful. What else can I say about it? So, obviously great choice for road running. If you could only do one shoe and you want to use it for multiple purposes, this might be a great option for you if it fits and feels good. Okay. Just keep in mind, like I said, I went down a half size. So usually 11.5, I went to an 11 in this guy. Okay. So Hoka Mach 5. All right. Who are we going to talk about next? Let's talk about hybrid, my hybrid shoe. If you follow me on Strava, you'll see I do a lot of dirt road to road, and sometimes dirt road to road to dirt road. Sometimes I'm running on farm fields. Sometimes I'm running in grass. Where I live, there's just a wide range of surfaces that I can run on from my house. And I needed a shoe that I felt like I had a little bit of traction, not overdone, because I don't want to feel it on the road. I want to feel comfortable when I hit the pavement, but I also want to feel secure and nimble when I'm on either dirt or grass or rock or mud. So I went with the Ultra Outroad. So the Ultra Outroad, great little shoe. It's built on their Slim Last, so it's holds the foot a lot more secure. I have a very kind of low volume foot, so the height of my foot is a lot smaller. I don't have a lot of meat on top of my foot. In other words, my arch doesn't come up too high, and I'm not too wide in the forefoot. So this shoe fits me pretty well. So if you have a wider foot, you may be a little bit pressed in this shoe. It's not as wide as your typical Ultra. Still feels great. Still that nice roomy toe box up front, very rounded. Their natural toe box, they call it. This shoe again retails for $140. It's Ultra, so it's 0 drop. Keep that in mind. But the outsole, you can see it's got a lot of little raised tread, which grabs really well. I've used it on single track. I've used it crossing rivers. It doesn't have a Vibram outsole. It uses their Max Track outsole compound, so they're carbon rubber, which isn't the tackiest on wet surfaces. So again, this isn't like if you're on single track and it's super wet, slick rock. The shoe's not gonna have the greatest traction because it doesn't have that tactile stickiness of like a Vibram outsole, like one of the next shoe I'm about to talk about, or you'll see. Anyway, really enjoy this shoe, but again, only drawback, not the stickiest rubber, but it feels great on the road. I love the midsole. It feels great underfoot. I don't notice that this is a hybrid shoe. It feels, interestingly enough, it feels like a road shoe when you're on the road, and it feels like a trail shoe when you're on the trail. So Ultra did a great job with the Outroad. Now, size wise, let's look real quick just to remind me. I went up a half size in this one. So usually an 11.5, I went up to a 12 in this one. Okay. So the Hoka Mach 5, I went down a half size. The Ultra Outroad, I went up a half size. Okay, so keep that in mind. But great hybrid shoe. Love this one. Very versatile. My most versatile trail shoe. Now, when you find something that works and it's, in my case, it's a specific company that has been working for me. It just, you have continuity. It feels familiar. Okay. Now, it's not to say that should be your every shoe. It just so happens that another Ultra is my most versatile trail shoe, and that's the Lone Peak. Now, I say this with the caveat that I've been using the Lone Peak 6, and the Lone Peak 7 has just released. I don't have hands on the 7 yet. So the 6 has been my most versatile trail shoe. I can use it for multiple distances, multiple surfaces, multiple speeds. The Lone Peak 6 has been just a workhorse for me. If I'm reaching for a trail shoe, I usually reach for the Lone Peak. So again, the 7's out. I don't know anything about it just yet. I can tell that there's been some changes, and I'm interested to see it, interested to get it on foot. The new price point, the new Lone Peak did go up in price. It's up to $150. Okay. I still have a bunch of pairs of these, so I'm going to be going through these for a while. So it may be a while before I get to review or even try on the 7. So I can't provide any feedback there, But again, if I'm reaching for a trail shoe, most of the time it's for the 6, the Lone Peak 6. Again, downside of this, it just has the Max Track outsole. Okay, so not a very grippy rubber. I used this when I did the Folk Art Center to Mount Mitchell 50K, and I was on some slick rocks, and this did not have enough traction. So only downside of the Max Track, and maybe it's they came up with the new, I don't think they used the new compound in the new outsole. I think it's still Max Track. I don't know if they did anything different, but it'd be my only qualm with the that outsole. Again, same outsole that's on the Outroad so far as what they used in the compound for the carbon rubber. So just be aware of that. But again, very versatile shoe. I can use this for any type of faster stuff on the trails. It's great climbing, great descending. I can use it on fire roads. I can use it on single track technical, but again, traction just a little bit limited in that regard. Okay. So really enjoyed the Lone Peak. All right. So far as my best long distance trail shoe, the shoe that I used for Bigfoot that I found worked. Now listen, when I say this, and I've talked about it again on previous podcasts, I tried a million different shoes. I tried Topo. I tried Norda. I tried, my goodness, I tried Brooks. I tried Nike. I tried so many different brands, just try to find the shoe that felt great for a longer distance. I wanted extra protection. I wanted extra cushion, and I wanted a grippy outsole. And so when I bring up this next shoe, so looking at the Ultra Olympus 5, okay, this shoe met my needs. It's got the extra cushion. It's got the Vibram Mega Grip outsole, so very sticky rubber. Traction's great. I use this climbing. I use this for Bigfoot. This was my primary shoe in Bigfoot. Love this shoe. So for ultras, this was great. Some of you may be more a fan of the Hokas. That's great. I tried the Hokas as well. My only problem with the Hoka was the taper in the toe box. The pinky toe and the big toe, it was just tapered too much, and I felt those. And that's what was my concern, was that I would be rubbing so much over the course, I would just, blister up, or I'd have a lot of irritation on my toes. So I was, looking for more of a rounded toe box. So that's why I tried some of the Topos. That's why I kept looking until I found the Ultra Olympus 5. This shoe has been an all-around great performer. It is a bit heavy. Okay. So know that we're looking at 12-ish plus ounces. So a little bit heavier, but the underfoot feel is great. Again, I use this climbing and descending. I used it up on Mount Monadnock up in New Hampshire. I did 3 up and downs from Mount Monadnock. Great shoe. Only thing that happened, and it's not on this colorway. This colorway has held up great on all. I think I've had 3 or 4 pairs of the orange colorway. So this model, but in the orange color. These, I'll call them fingers. Okay. These rays, no, that's not true. It did happen on this. You can see that the carbon rubber delaminates. Okay. So that is the only thing that I would watch out for. I did feel this sometimes on the descending, it would kind of peel away, and I was like, so what I did was I had some shoe goo, and I just had, especially during Bigfoot, I had my crew, I took them off. I had about 3 pairs of these with me. So I took them off, and they re-glued them for me. And that way, if I needed them at a later time, it would be dry and I could use them. But yeah, that's the only problem with the Ultra Olympus 5 is that delamination of the tread. So just be careful there. Watch for that. Again, I used shoe goo, glued it, never had a problem again. Okay. So, but the Ultra Olympus 5, this is my ultra shoe of choice. Some of you may go with something like the Speed Goat or the Mafate, or something along those lines, Mafate Speed. Again, it's all preference, what you choose. I didn't want to get into the carbon plated shoes. I don't have enough experience with the road ones, especially, and I've only tried one. I believe that's correct. Only one plated trail shoe, and that was the Hoka Texton X. So I didn't really want to get into the plated reviews. But that's my lineup. Only other drawback of the Ultra Olympus 5 is that it is $180. It's an expensive shoe. So, the price of shoes seems to be increasing again. I guess that's because of the materials, perhaps some of the, R&D that's going into these shoes, but just expect to see a higher price point going forward in 2023. So, but that is my gear review for 2022. I know I didn't get into a lot of the apparel and stuff like that as I did last year. I was trying to be a little bit better about, just sticking with the apparel that I had and using it and not getting all new stuff all the time. As my rain shell's still working, I'm still using the Innovate, still love that thing. I'm sticking with what I have so that I'm not getting rid of old apparel that's still very functional and I love. So not a lot of updates there. But I hope some of that gear turns your head to something new to try. I know with footwear, as I said, it's not always going to be the best solution for you. So again, do what's right for you and for your foot, what feels good underfoot to you. When you put it on, it feels like a slipper and, you're just happy that you have it on your foot and you're ready to go. So, again, I want to wish everybody a very happy holidays. I hope that you enjoy time with your friends and your family, that you get to celebrate this time of year. I hope everybody has a very happy new year, and may your year ahead be very prosperous, successful, and may you enjoy every run and race that you do. I thank you for sharing this journey with me, my friends. And until next time, keep running.